Jai.
Shri Shri Radha, Krishna, Gopal, Gopinath, Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Shama Veta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
Bol Hari Bol.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We are reading and discussing Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter number 17, the Lord's pastimes in his youth, and at text number 60. Mother Mukti Datri, would you be the honorable, do the honorable Bengali?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Arek bipro ailo kirtana dekhite, dare kapat na pailo bhitore jaite.
Translation. Another Brahmin came to see the kirtan performance, but the door was closed and he could not enter the hall.
ফিরি গেল বিপ্র ঘরে মনে দুঃখ পাইয়া, আরেক প্রভুকে কহে গঙ্গায় লাগো পাইয়া।
He returned home with an unhappy mind. But on the next day, he met Lord Chaitanya on the bank of the Ganges and spoke to him.
সাপিব তোমারে মোহি পাইয়াছি মন দুঃখ, পৈতা চিড়িয়া সাপে প্রচণ্ড দুর্মুখ।
That Brahmin was expert in talking harshly and cursing others. Thus he broke his sacred thread and declared, I shall now curse you, for your behavior has greatly aggrieved me.
সংসার সুখ তোমার হোক বিনাশ, সাপ শুনি প্রভুর চিত্তে হইল উল্লাস।
The Brahmin cursed the Lord. You shall be bereft of all material happiness. When the Lord heard this, he felt great jubilation within himself.
প্রভুর শাপ বার্তা যেই শুনে শ্রদ্ধাবান, ব্রহ্ম শাপ হইতে তার হয় পরিত্রাণ।
Any faithful person who hears of this Brahmana's cursing Lord Chaitanya is delivered from all Brahminical curses. Purport. One should know with firm conviction that the Lord, being transcendental, is never subject to any curse or benediction. Only ordinary living entities are subjected to curses and punishments of Jamaraj. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beyond such punishments and benedictions. When one understands this fact with faith and love, he personally becomes free from all curses uttered by Brahmins or anyone else. This incident is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Shapanantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shaddaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to request permission and blessings from all the devotees, and especially for those who are senior by age or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this particular pastime of Lord Chaitanya, it's Srila Prabhupada indicates it's not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So following Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is only addressing and elaborating on those pastimes that are not elaborated on by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So the verse was another Brahmin, because why another Brahmin, do you think? It started out another Brahmin.
Was Gopal Chapala also a Brahmin?
Yeah. Gopal Chapal was a Brahmin. So no, that Brahmin, he was trying to mess with Srivas Thakur, cause trouble. And so here's another Brahmin. So here's the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and he's being and his devotees, both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees are being apparently subject to mistreatment, even during their time in their pastimes here in Navadvip. So that's very interesting. That's the nature of this material world. As soon as Lord Krishna appeared in Mathura, there was a plan to kill him. That's God, right? The materialists, atheists, those who are envious, they always want to get rid of God, and along with that, they want to minimize or cut down devotees, his actual devotees. So the impetus for this cursing by the Brahmin, what was the impetus? Why was this Brahmin so angry?
Because he wasn't allowed into the kirtan.
That's right. He was locked out. And Srila Prabhupada already commented about that Lord Chaitanya would have nocturnal kirtans every night for many hours for an entire year. But those kirtans were closed. And he mentioned in the purport of describing that in ISKCON's system, we usually keep the kirtans open. But Lord Chaitanya had his own reasons for keeping the kirtans closed. We can only speculate, because it's not mentioned exactly why. There's one instance where Srivas Thakur smuggled in a Brahmin.
Mm.
You know this. So, because he was very interested in seeing the kirtan, hearing the kirtan of Lord Chaitanya and his associates. So he hid in one corner of the area where the kirtan was going on inside. He somehow he got smuggled in. But Lord Chaitanya, he was, during the kirtan, he was saying, something is wrong. There's some disturbance going on. So he didn't, at least externally show. But then finally, Srivas Thakur had to confess, yes, I brought this Brahmin here. He was really interested in hearing the kirtan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, well, what is this Brahmin's qualification? So Srivas Thakur, you remember what he said? No? Nobody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
He said that he is living drinking milk only. He is very very dedicated Brahman. So that's why.
Yeah, he's a brahmachari, he's a brahmachari, and he's taking this such austerity of only drinking milk. Then no other solid food is taking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's response is, oh, you think you can attain Krishna just by drinking milk? That's it? That austerity? No, no. That reflects Lord Chaitanya's teachings are reflective of the same teachings as Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Naham Veda, na tapasa, na danina, na chijaya. It's not by study of the Vedas, nor by austerity, nor by giving in charity, nor by any particular kind of material worship. It's not by those means you can understand me. Bhaktya, tvananyaya shakya aham evam virorjuna. It's only by full devotional service that you can understand me. So Lord Chaitanya's activities, leelas, is reflective of that same point. There may be other reasons. It's very common sometimes people become angry about also if one corrects them about how to play the kartals or something, usually people get angry at you too. That's what happens. So anyway, but following this, reading this verse and the purport, we get the benefit of being freed from all those curses. So this is, nobody could say this is not a beneficial time in the morning time here. Just by hearing this with faith, we can become free from all the curses of Brahmanical curses. And there might be many, there might be. Comments, questions? Nobody? Somebody may say that the reason they kept the door closed for the kirtan was because they didn't want to have anybody playing the kartals off beat. Or another thing is, actually, when I was we did the summer camp for kids, and many of the kids played the drum and kartal, nicely. But one thing I noticed, not an exaggeration, these are children between the ages of 10 and 17. 90% of the kids, when they played an instrument, they did not chant. 90% did not chant while they played the instrument. So, I mean, what is kirtan? What is kirtan?
Chanting.
Go ahead.
It is chanting.
Yeah, so if it's not playing kartals, that's supposed to accompany the kirtan. It's not playing mridanga. That means those are supposed to accompany the kirtan, be supportive of the kirtan, but the kirtan is chanting the holy names. So the first rule of kirtan is chanting, not playing the harmonium, not playing the drum, not playing the kartal. So if you're playing all those instruments but not chanting, this is not that's not first class. No. Anyway, so I mentioned that, but usually people get mad at me when I say stuff like that. Maybe they don't curse me. I'm happy about that. But that's our program, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Who is the person who is recognized, the Mahajan who's recognized as the perfect kirtan performer?
Sukadev Goswami.
Shukadev Goswami, how many kartals did they play when he was chanting? We don't know of any. In Mridanga, we don't know of any. But kirtan means glorification of the Lord. So that should always take first precedence, the most volume. And the other things, if they're not accompanied by the holy name, they drown out the holy name. It's just noise. That's just noise. It's not transcendental. So anyway, this is, I'm on a kind of a, so sometimes people say, well, they're just kids. What do you expect? You know, well, they're just kids, you know, let them play whatever they want, you know. But what you train a child to do, they'll do in their adulthood. So this, to me, that means that those who are playing, who are teaching them, are misleading the people, misleading the kids, because they're not emphasizing chanting. I first learned the Mridanga from a devotee named Madhusudana. He passed away last year, but he learned it directly from Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada insisted to him, when he transmitted to me, that if you're going to play the drum, you got to chant. Otherwise, that's what you got to chant. That was his emphasis to me. That was his emphasis. So anyway, I don't know that that's what happened in Lord Chaitanya. He kept people out because he didn't want people to just play kartals and make noise without chanting. I don't know that, but it's certainly a possibility. Okay. Comments, questions, corrections, curses? No?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, please obeisance to Krishna Prabhupada. I just want to thank you for, upholding that last leg of Dharma, which is truthfulness. Truth must be spoken, whether palatably or not, preferably palatably. But the aspect of, kirtan actually sounding out these holy syllables with your voice, and having the instruments accompany the Mahamantra are, well said, well spoken, and actually true. But in the defense of children, I want to say that adults also have a tendency to do this when learning, or just because, playing the mridanga, you're using two sides of your body, and the brain has some kind of effect. And so speaking initially or singing initially and learning how to play the mridanga is very, very difficult. But, I do totally agree with what you're saying.
Thank you. I appreciate your pointing it out. It's not just the kids. You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have been picking on the kids so much. I just happened to notice it there at this summer camp that we had. But you're absolutely right. It applies to everybody. It applies to me too. And everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very good comment. I appreciate that. X65. Mother Bhuktidatri, are you you're muted, I think. Or did you? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. মুকুন্দ দত্তেরে কইল দণ্ড পরশাদ খণ্ডিল তাহার চিত্তের সব অবসাদ.
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Mukunda Datta with punishment, and in that way vanquished all his mental depression. Purport. Mukunda Datta was once forbidden to enter the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because of his mixing with the Mayavadi impersonalists. When Lord Chaitanya manifested his Mahaprakash, he called all the devotees one after another and blessed them, while Mukunda Datta stood outside the door. The devotees informed the Lord that Mukunda Datta was waiting outside, but the Lord replied, I shall not be pleased with Mukunda Datta, for though he explains devotional service among devotees, he then goes to Mayavadis to hear from them the Yoga Vashishta Ramayana, which is full of Mayavadi philosophy. For this I am greatly displeased with him. Hearing the Lord speak in many ways, Mukunda Datta, standing outside, was exceedingly glad that the Lord would at some time be pleased with him, although he was not pleased at that moment. But when the Lord understood that Mukunda Datta was going to give up the association of the Mayavadis for good, he was pleased. And he at once called to see Mukunda. Thus he delivered him from the association of the Mayavadis and gave him the association of pure devotees. So this is a very wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. And this pastime is mentioned elsewhere, but there's some details here that we don't find in the other where it's mentioned elsewhere. This happens in Krishna consciousness and study of the scriptures. Sometimes you'll find some information or some enlightening passage in one place about a particular philosophical point or pastime, but you don't find it at another place. So it's a good reason to study things carefully, fully. So here, the fact that this interaction with Mukunda Datta happened at the Mahaprakash day, that's very interesting, and that he was going to hear from the Mayavadis the Yoga Vashishta Ramayana. So there are many different Ramayans, and some of them are mixed with Mayavadi philosophy, like this Yoga Vashishta Ramayana. So one should be careful because, for example, there's one version of the Ramayana where every time you turn around, Lord Rama is worshiping Lord Shiva. You don't find that in the Valmiki Ramayana. But people like the version where he's always worshiping Lord Shiva, and they say, oh, that means this is a much more devotional Ramayana than Valmiki Ramayana. Srila Prabhupada was asked that, but he said, there's no harm. Lord Krishna is worshiping his devotees. When Sudama went to Dwaraka, what did Krishna do when he arrived? And he welcomed Sudama. How did he welcome him? You know?
Washing his feet with water.
Yeah, he washed his feet, and then there was a Chamara Rukmini. So nothing, but the mistake is that people think that all the different gods are the same. That's Mayavad philosophy. So Krishna, Ram, Nrsimha, Ganesh, Shiva, all the same. Yastu Narayanam Devam, Brahmarudrani Devate, Samatvene Viksheta, Sapashandi Bhave Dhruvam. Somebody who thinks that even the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu is an offender, Pashandi. That's the Lord Caitanya said that. So in another place, so this Mukunda, when he heard that when he asked Lord Caitanya, when will I be able to see Lord Caitanya again? And so the answer came back, well, in many, many births. So then he started dancing. Oh, this is wonderful. So you'll be able to see him again, at least at some point in time. But here it says that because he gave up, he pledged to give up the association of the Mayavadis for good. Therefore, he gained entrance to the audience of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those two things aren't mutually exclusive. They can go together. But it's interesting. This is additional information about this pastime. So we see how important it was for Lord Chaitanya to for his associates to be careful about avoiding intimate association with those who are monists or teaching about this atheistic philosophy of Mayavadi. There's different things that are recommended to avoid for nourishing one's advancement in spiritual life. Atyahara, you know this, Atyahara, Prayashascha, Prajalpo, Niyamagraha, Janasangas, Chalolyam cha. These 6 things are in Upadeshamrita I mentioned. Atyahara, eating more than required, or collecting more than you need. Prayashas, endeavor for material progress. Prajalpo, village talk, nonsense talk. Prajalpo. Niyamagraha, not following rules or regulations, or following them without the purpose of satisfying Krishna. Jana Sangha, associating with negative, materially influenced people. That's here, associating with the Mayavadi. Jana Lolyam, and greed, excessive greed, is going to destroy or disturb your devotional progress. So here's a good example of this. Even though he was an intimate associate of Lord Caitanya, and his last name was Datta. I think we have a Datta here on this call today, and the famous last name Mukunda Datta. And there was also in our Sampradaya, we have Kedaranath Datta and Bimal Prasad Datta, but he was restricted from associating with Lord Caitanya until he agreed to give up the association of Mayavadis. Hare Krishna. Comments, questions, observations? Text 66. You're also muted, Mother Muktidatri.
I was outside, that's why. আচার্য গোসাইরে প্রভু করে গুরু ভক্তি তাহাতে আচার্য হয় তাহাতে আচার্য বড় হয় দুঃখমতি.
Lord Chaitanya respected Advaitacharya as his spiritual master, but Advaitacharya Prabhu was greatly aggrieved by such behavior.
ভঙ্গি করি জ্ঞান মার্গ করিল ব্যাখ্যান ক্রুধাবেশে প্রভু তারে কইল অবজ্ঞান.
Thus, he whimsically began to explain the path of philosophical speculation, and the Lord, in his anger, seemingly disrespected him. I want you, can you comment on this? Bhangi Kori, Mother Muktidatri, Bhangi Kori, you know that expression?
Yes, Prabhu, it's like acting.
Is it a bhangi? What is a bhangi?
Bhangi is like something.
Pose.
Yeah, it's like
In
that.
dance, they say
But
bhangi means in pose.
Posing. Okay.
Posing.
Okay. Bhangi Kari. Okay.
Bhangi.
Posing like that, as if you were doing philosophical speculation. Okay.
yeah,
Good.
sometimes it's like they also like when we do like say people like you bhangi, you are doing bhangi means he's acting weirdly, kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Posing.
Okay. So it's the same in Hindi, that same word?
Bhangi is actually Sanskrit word.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's posing.
Vyakan, yeah. Next verse.
In the Hindi, Prabhu, bhangi is like sweeper.
Was that long A, short A?
Bhangi, long one.
Bhangi, yeah. Bhangi. Yeah.
Bhangi, yeah.
We
I
say
don't know.
that every day.
What's that?
We say it every day
When?
in our house because there is so many like acts going on.
Okay.
My
Okay.
Prabhu, me sometime. So we say that every day.
Okay.
Yeah, very useful word for Bangladesh.
Well, thank you so much. Text 68. Text 68.
তবে আচার্য গোসাইর আনন্দ হইল, লজ্জিত হইয়া প্রভু প্রসাদ করিল।
At that time, Advaita Acharya was greatly pleased. The Lord understood this, and he was somewhat ashamed, but he offered Advaita Acharya his benediction. Purport. Advaita Acharya was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri's spiritual master. Therefore, Ishwar Puri, the spiritual master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was Advaita Acharya's god brother. In view of this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu treated Advaita Acharya as his spiritual master. But Sri Advaita Acharya did not like this behavior of Lord Chaitanya, for he wanted to be treated as his eternal servant. Advaita Prabhu's aspiration was to be the servant, to be a servant of the Lord, not his spiritual master. He therefore devised a plan to antagonize the Lord. He began to explain the path of philosophical speculation in the midst of some unfortunate Mayavadis. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about this, he immediately went there and in an angry mood, very angry mood, began to beat Advaita Acharya. At that time, Advaita Acharya, greatly pleased, began to dance, saying, "Just see how my desire has now been fulfilled. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to treat me honorably for so long, but now he is treating me neglectfully. This is my reward. His affection for me is so great that he wanted to save me from the hands of the Mayavadis." Hearing this statement, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was somewhat ashamed, but he was very pleased with Advaita Acharya. So the etiquette in Vaishnava dealings is that one should treat the god brother of or god sister of the guru as respectfully as one treats the guru. That doesn't usually happen so much, but that's the tradition, the etiquette in Vaishnava dealings. So Advaita Acharya, being the god brother of Ishwar Puri, was being treated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as just as a spiritual master. Advaita Prabhu, realizing and knowing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead and not his, in that sense, not his god nephew, he wanted to take the position of the servant of Lord Chaitanya. In fact, during the Ratha Yatra ceremonies, during the parade, Advaita Acharya used to chant along with the Hare Krishna mantra. He used to chant a particular verse. It went like this: Chaitanyara Das Muni, Chaitanyara Das, Chaitanyara Das Muni, Tandra Dashera Das. So he would go along with the kirtan, but then sometimes he would break into that mantra: I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya and the servant of his servants, like that. So he especially was happy to be able to be in this situation, subordinate to Lord Chaitanya. So it's not that given taking this situation out of context, one should say, oh, Advaita Prabhu, he preached Mayavadi philosophy, therefore we should also. Lord Krishna, during the Govardhan Leela, he spoke Karma Mimamsa philosophy, atheistic philosophy. But his purpose was to engage everyone in service of Govardhan Hill. And then he incarnated as the hill, Govardhan. So his purpose was the service and worship and devotion to himself as Govardhan Hill. Similarly here, Lord Caitanya appreciated Advaitacharya's efforts to become subordinate to him by this method of preaching Mayavadi philosophy or Jnana Marg to irritate Lord Chaitanya just for that. It's very interesting. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada points out Lord Buddha also preached Mayavad or Shunyavad actually, nihilistic philosophy. But ultimately the purpose was to get people to stop slaughtering animals wholesale and come back ultimately, eventually to the Vedic fold. Questions, comments, additions? Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, you're unusually quiet today.
Yeah, thank you for observing. I'm not doing that well today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't disturb you. Text 69.
মুরারি গুপ্ত মুখে শুনি রামগুণ গ্রাম ললাটে লিখিল তার রামদাস নাম
Murari Gupta was a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. When Lord Chaitanya heard Lord Ramchandra's glories from his mouth, he immediately wrote on his forehead, Ramdas, the eternal servant of Lord Ramchandra. So I don't know what he wrote with. Maybe somebody knows what he wrote with that. Something. Sometimes people are given titles. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Gaudiya Math would often give people, his disciples, titles, Vidya Bhushan, etc. Srila Prabhupada was given the title Bhakti Vedanta. Yeah, so here, Murari Gupta is being labeled Ramdas. That's a position of, or a situation of great honor to be the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We as devotees, aspiring devotees, we put on our forehead our tilak to announce that we are devotees of Krishna or Vishnu. And not only on the forehead, but every place, different places, but especially the forehead. Yes. Text 70.
শ্রীধরের লৌহ পাত্রে কইল জল পান সমস্ত ভক্তের দিল ইষ্ট বরদান
Once, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the house of Sridhar after Kirtan and drank water from his damaged iron pot. Then he bestowed his benediction upon all the devotees according to their desires. Purport. After the mass Nagara Sankirtan in protest against the magistrate Chandkazi, the Kazi was converted to a devotee. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned with his Sankirtan party to the house of Sridhar, and Chandkazi followed him. All the devotees rested there for some time and drank water from Sridhar's damaged iron pot. The Lord accepted the water because the pot belonged to a devotee. Chandkazi then returned home. The place where they rested is still situated on the northeastern side of Mayapur, and it is known as Kirtan Vishram Sthan, the resting place of the Kirtan party. Okay. Wow. So we haven't come to the Chandkazi pastime, but so apparently this is not exactly chronologically or organized. But he accepted, even it was a damaged pot, he accepted from Sridhar because he was devotee. It's reminiscent of when Lord Krishna was going to Hastinapur to try to arrange for peace between the Kauravas and Pandavas. Duryodhan, he tried to arrange a big feast for Krishna to try to bribe him to take their side, even though he had already vowed that he would take the side of Arjuna and the Pandavas without fighting. But Duryodhana had a bright idea that he would try to win him over with a big feast and other things, opulent presentations. So Lord Krishna said, "No, I'm tired. I'm not hungry. I don't have any appetite. I'm sorry." But then he went to Vidura's house, Vidur Kuti, and they had some simple vegetable there. It was called shak, or actually in that area where Vidura's house was, it's called batwa. You know batwa? A batwa. It grows wild in that area of batwa. So Lord Krishna accepted. It was very pleased, and so they have a temple there at Vidura's house, where is supposedly Vidura's house, where in there they have Krishna taking the banana peel from Vidura. Now I don't know if this is anywhere in the Shastras, but anyway, they have this that he was accepting. It was because Vidura was offering it in actual love. Krishna accepted the banana peel. Well, that's not for us. That's at a very high platform. We don't have that kind of love. We want to offer very nice things to Krishna. We won't be offering banana peels. We'll offer a rasgulla, maybe some sandesh, some nice kachoris and chutney like that. But he accepts from his devotees. So even sometimes when his very elevated devotees like Sridhar or Vidura, they give something that's not the top quality, Krishna still accepts. Same thing with Sudama. Sudama had some poha. So these are elevated people, very highly elevated. We, on our position, we want to always give the best to Krishna, whatever we can do, the best we can do. For example, we're having this Janmashtami and then Ratha Yatra coming up. So we should offer the nicest things to Lord Krishna. Nice, not make it cheap. Nice flower arrangements. Sometimes there's description, some encouragement to just get some plastic flowers. But would you give plastic flowers to your brother or your sister, your mother? No, you would give nicest things. So Krishna is not a dead stone. He's not a block of wood. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we want to please him. He knows our intention. And to actually please him, we have to be a little bit serious about it and make very nice offerings. The best offerings should be given to Krishna. Sometimes people would criticize, but Prabhupada said, we would rent a Rolls Royce to pick up Srila Prabhupada, or a Cadillac or something. So Prabhupada, people criticized reporters. But Prabhupada said, then this is nothing. They should, not for him, but as a representative of Krishna, for Krishna should have the best. A golden car is not bad, not too much. Of course, nobody ever got a golden car, but still. So but he accepted, Srila Prabhupada accepted, especially early in the movement, a little Volkswagen Jalopy, the Krishna car, and he would ride. The seat in the front wasn't fixed properly, so it'd go when the car would speed up, the seat would go back. So Prabhupada would ride in that. So he would accept, because those were what the devotees could offer. But our job is to do as best we can for service of Krishna. Comments, questions, observations, improvements. Text 71.
হরিদাস ঠাকুরের করিল প্রসাদ আচার্য স্থানে মাতার খণ্ডাইল অপরাধ.
After this incident, the Lord blessed Haridas Thakur and vanquished the offense of his mother at the home of Advaitacharya. Purport. On the Mahaprakash day, here again we're this Mahaprakash day, Lord Chaitanya embraced Haridas Thakur and informed him that he was none other than the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. When Vishwarup took sannyas, Sachi Mata thought that Advaita Acharya had persuaded him to do so. Therefore, she accused Advaita Acharya of this, which was an offense at his lotus feet. Later, Lord Chaitanya induced his mother to take the dust of Advaita Acharya's lotus feet, and thus her Vaishnava aparad was nullified. Even Mother Sachi, such an elevated, eternal associate of the Lord, in this case, Lord Chaitanya is teaching that how important it is for not even this. She made slight comment that Advaita Acharya had been the cause of Vishwarup's taking sannyas in a negative way. You could say, "Oh, Advaita Acharya is the cause of taking sannyas. Vishwarup's taking sannyas. How wonderful!" But she said it in a negative way, and just that Lord Chaitanya was not ready to forgive. Very interesting. Similarly, we read the pastime of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. You know Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was the spiritual master of Gadadhar Pandit. So he went to Puri, and it was the time when, in the fall, near winter, when things get colder, and when they first start to put chadars on, warm chadars on the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani. So he noticed that the pujaris had put on starched cloth as chadar. And that's against the rules and regulations of starched cloth. It's supposed to be washed cloth, not starch. You know, you put on starched cloth is a little scratchy, isn't it? So in his mind, he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. In his mind only, he criticized. And then in his dream that night, Krishna and Balaram came and slapped his cheeks. So, I mean, he is a very elevated devotee that Krishna and Balaram personally came to teach him that way. So we also have to be quite careful. If Krishna Balaram slaps our cheeks, that's also wonderful. But that point is to avoid, even in the mental criticism, unnecessary criticism like that. So Mother Sachi what happened was Lord Chaitanya was doing Mahaprakash, and he was giving love of God to all his associates. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Kvarchishe Namaha. He's giving Krishna Prema. And somebody said, let's get Mother Sachi. He said, no, I can't give. So Advaita Acharya then came, and he was falling in ecstasy, and he had lost his consciousness. And while he was unconscious, then the devotees encouraged Mother Sachi, you take the dust of his feet there to nullify your offense. And she did so. Lord Chaitanya noticed, he saw, and he approved of that. Hare Krishna. One more verse. Let's see. What do we have?
ভক্তগণে প্রভু নাম মহিমা কহিল শুনিয়া পড়ুয়া তাহা অর্থবাদ কইল.
Once, when the Lord explained the glories of the holy name to the devotees, some ordinary students who heard him fashioned their own interpretation. Yeah, one more.
নামে স্তুতিবাদ শুনি প্রভুর হইল দুঃখ সবারে নিষেধিল ইহার না দেখিহ মুখ.
When a student interpreted the glories of the holy name as a prayer of exaggeration, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, greatly unhappy, immediately warned everyone not to see the student's face henceforward. Once, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the glories of the transcendental potency of the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one unfortunate student said that such glorification of the holy name was an exaggeration in the Shastras just to induce people to take to it. In this way, the student interpreted the glories of the holy name. This is called artavad, and it is one of the 10 offenses at the lotus feet of the holy name of the Lord. There are many kinds of offenses, but the offense known as namaparad, an offense at the lotus feet of the holy name, is extremely dangerous. The Lord therefore warned everyone not to see the face of the offender. The Lord immediately took a bath in the Ganges with all his clothes on to teach everyone to avoid such a namaparad. The holy name is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no difference between the person God and his holy name. Thus, this is the absolute position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one who distinguishes between the Lord and his name is called a pashandi, or non-believer, an atheistic demon. Glorification of the holy name is glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should never attempt to distinguish between the Lord and his name or interpret the glories of the holy name as mere exaggerations. Strong purport, very strong. Hare Krishna. Questions, comments, additions? No? I guess we'll end here. Yes, Mother Shobharadhe.
No, just an observation that in spite of reading this much and hearing this much, we are still continuing to commit offenses. What is it? I mean, I don't know what is it we could do?
That's called practice. Well, that's why we have to attend the classes to keep us reminding. In the beginning, our practice is offensive chanting, and then gradually we go to the stage of clearing stage. So I would venture to say that probably we're not as offensive now as we once were. Our offenses are a little bit less. Would you agree with that?
Maybe, but then if we are committing offenses against other Vaishnavas, other devotees, then isn't that even more serious?
All those. So that's why we read passages like today to remind us again and again. Yeah, our mind is a rascal. Our consciousness is a rascal. So practice. We have to practice more, and that sets us back on the right path.
Yeah, I think, but sometimes I feel even this, we are doing it in a rote way without actually hearing what needs to be heard. The practice of hearing is also becoming just routine, and we're hearing it, we step out, and then we're doing the same thing. So what is it like when we hear it? It's very clear, like you said, this purport is so strong. I mean, he's considering him dead because that's why I think he went into the Ganges with his clothes on. That's very serious, very strong. And if we are still not able to correct ourselves.
That's called humility, yes. We haven't done well. Somebody has a hand up. That's who's VGD. I don't know.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Oh, Brajesh Govinda Das. Brajesh Govinda Prabhu.
Yes, so thank you. Nice class. And I know, this the one verses, the one song, I think so. Haristane aparade tare harinam, tumastane aparade nahi ko eran.
Nahi paritran.
Okay, yeah, this like the word is, I hear this eran. Eran means paritran is same thing, but it's like, the verse is like, matching. That's why say eran. It's okay, Bengali word, I understand. Then, like if we do like anything offenses to Harinam or like anything with Lord, might be we can get the release of this because He's so merciful. But like if we do anything in the Vaishnava Aparadh, there is we cannot do anything else.
Yes, there's 9 processes of devotional service. One of those processes is vandanam, praying, and praying. And so, yeah, we're in a offensive condition, and we're making all kinds of disturbances. So please, Krishna, please help us. We're please, and if we have some sincerity, even though we might do things by rote sometimes, but if we have sincerity and we pray that way, Krishna will help out. He will. Maybe not tomorrow, but today or tomorrow, but soon he'll help.
Yeah, you already described. I think the last 2 class back. I remember it. He said this Chapal Gopal. There's already offenses with the Lord Srivas. Yes, sorry, in the Srivas Thakur, and there's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already. His mind is but in the Srivas Thakur he did not mind too much, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking this too much about that.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Brajesh Govinda Prabhu Acharya. Okay. Thanks all very much. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.